You are now tuned in to the Free Play Media Podcast Network.
We're live from Gaslight Lounge. Chris Emmon, Travis Terrell have some very special guests in studio today for a pop-up podcast. We'll get to them in just a second. June 2nd at Gaslight Lounge, parking lot, the whole venue. We're rocking it out. Travis is called to send up on Shaw. Are you excited about it?
Very excited, Chris.
I'm pumped. We're bringing in Ian Bagg all the way from Los Angeles via Canada. Jonathan Kite, you know him from Two Broke Girls, among other things. Headlining the show, we've got music, food trucks. It's going to be a great time. Big thanks to them for making that happen. Get tickets online, weareliveradio.com. Today, all the way from New York City, the ladies from Guys We Fucked podcast.
Hi.
What is happening, Corinne and Krystyna? Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the giant crowd we've provided for you live here at Gaslight.
No, that's great. Are these like filler girls?
Did you pay them $50?
They are, yes. We have
I thought you were like,
extras
just
coming from...
need some hot babes come in.
That's
really make the girls feel welcome.
Yeah, right.
Get some hot babes.
Yeah, those are St. Louis's top actresses that have just walked in. It works a little light here.
Wow, I feel like Justin Bieber. You got to calm down.
They are great.
Tell
they
them
look
to put
so
their shirts
excited.
They are. They're here for you. They've never listened to anything.
Well, then why is
we
Aaron
do.
in that room?
Because you don't listen to directions. Whenever I say it's fine. Aaron's back there taking the 8 tracks, taking the tape decks,
good.
everything else.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I've never heard somebody just so openly accuse someone of theft.
I thought. Let me say something.
Let me just say everything when it happened. We walk in and Aaron's like, "Yeah, come back with us," and then you're like, "Oh, she's coming. Okay, cool. Don't steal anything." We're like, Whoa! I didn't even think that.
She's wearing like Lululemon. She's not stealing anything.
There are some really expensive drumsticks back there that we're really worried about.
I want Aaron to steal them for me now.
I thought it would at least get a chuckle, nary a sound. Everyone was like, "This guy's a dick."
Oh, I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was quite awkward. The interview almost ended there.
This poor woman's at a bar after you guys like tweeted out on social media, "Come everyone," and then she's here and you're like, "Why are you here?"
Again,
I thought maybe the giant windows and places to sit and enjoy yourself was obvious.
Wait, so you have an audience on the other side of the window? Can they hear us?
They can hear us.
Oh,
yeah. Do you guys want to come back here too?
This is weird. I'm triggered.
Like sit on the floor like we're teaching a class.
Feels like Orthodox Judaism, like when you have to go into a cage in
temple.
Like
losing your virginity.
It's very strange.
Way over there.
That's part 2. If you guys would stop stepping on our punchlines, we bring in the Orthodox Jewish conversation at a certain point.
I gotta stop stepping on people's punchlines.
Well, they have to make punchlines.
Right.
That's true. That's a good point.
We're still searching for them. So you're at Helium Comedy Club all weekend long. Heard last night was a lot of fun.
It was the
Thursday night show. Was it
the best night ever? And then tonight's going to be the best night ever now.
I'm
right.
Yeah, all bullshitting aside, we've had so many responses just from like a quick send out of tweets and Facebook, all that good stuff last night. So many people direct messaged me, just they were excited, saying how funny you all were. We've listened. We're fans of the show. It's very entertaining. And do you feel it? Are you feeling like you're blowing up? Have you been blowing up?
Do I look like I feel like I'm blowing up?
You're on that. You're on that blow up.
I'm so sore.
I mean, I don't know what blowing up. I mean,
feel like you're in a positive place, to be honest.
Well, I mean, never that.
Okay, good. Good.
But I'm with her just for this moment in time, but I won't be forever. But yeah, I think if you feel like you're blowing up, that's when your comedy starts to suck.
There you go.
So, nah, we're good.
They're still scrapping for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's cool that we can do comedy for a living.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's recognized.
As far as when the podcast started, are you 4 years into? How far into the podcast are you at this moment?
A little over 4 years.
Is it 4 years? Okay, I was thinking that was it.
Yeah.
How quickly did it reach a level where you got comfortable with? Oh, hey, we can go hit up our ad rates. We can go hit up an agency and say, hey, this is what we're pulling in. Was it fair? Did it feel quick, or was it a lot of hard work?
It was we had been
just to scratch and claw on it.
We had been working together as a comedy duo for many years before the podcast.
Okay.
The podcast was just one of the things we did, and that was the thing that got pressed right away. the Daily Beast did an article on it, and then I remember my boyfriend had gotten he gets the emails in the morning from the Daily Beast, and we were one of the headlines, and he was like, "Holy shit!" And then I was like, "Oh my god, people are actually listening! Oh god, that's awesome."
Well, that was my question as far as like when you realized when you came up with the idea. I've heard the story of you guys just saying, "Hey guys, we've our exes if we bring them on," and I don't like that word.
Fuck?
Because it's no, I do.
I was like, who's this guy?
Wait, what are we doing?
Get Aaron in here.
I'm just trying to play a part. No, but like
Play a part. I'm sure I play a part. That's a T-shirt. I don't know if you guys have merch, but with your smiling face.
But like I feel like there had to have been a transition, like when you came up with the idea, and you was like, "Oh, this is a really good idea." But I would imagine you thought that this is going to make some waves. This is going to get some people in your life to really perk up in the way that, oh, what are you going to actually tell? What about my past dating history are you going to share? Like, did people get weird about it when you decided to move forward with it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was never. I just truly don't care what anyone thinks. The only thing.
Yeah, we didn't really say we're gonna make a hit. Bam. Or
you're not worried about what your family's going to say. Like you're on a what
Clearly
podcast?
not.
My family's really chill anyway, and they're obsessed with the entertainment business. So, like, by any means necessary. Like, honestly, I could have gone into porn, and they'd be like, "Great,
good for
you."
you.
Sign a
Like,
headshot. Like, they don't. They just we love entertainment. My family. I thought my mom would be like say a little something like negative about it because that's just her fun spirit. But she loved it, and I was like, "Oh God
damn it!" My mom.
I can't do anything to annoy anyone.
Well, it's nice too when you have maybe a name that caught some headlines, but then you can back it up with comedy chops and actual good stuff. Because it could have been a blip. We're like, can you believe they named it, guys? We like,
and then if we fucked it up and you went to listen, you're like, oh, this isn't that funny.
Unsubscribe.
Well, the big great thing about that name is that Corinne came up with it was. Either it makes you grossed out, it shocks you, it excites you, you think it's hilarious. Either any of those reactions, you're gonna check it out, even if you're like, I want to hate this, and then you're gonna laugh because we're really fucking funny.
Well, that's everyone.
My favorite part, my favorite audience member is the dude who's a misogynist, but he listens because we're funny, and it makes me so
You're good for
happy.
girls. Like, is that the typical saying? Like, how do they say it?
You're
like,
good for girls.
Oh, you're funny for chicks. We get that from men and women.
Is that? I mean, if you're not just pointing at a guy going misogynist. I mean, he's going to show himself in this.
No, but like we've had dudes email us saying like, I mean, I'm not a feminist, and like that shit weirds me out, but like you guys are funny. I'm like, thank you.
Oh wow,
that's
cool, dude.
That's the best email.
Yeah, those have to be live show experiences too. Even just podcasting in general are so important as far as getting your name out. Even just revenue at festivals, different things like that. I think I listened to one from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Carly
Aquilino.
Yeah, it was either her.
Oh, she's so funny.
She was, yeah. But even having those as options, as far like it, what a weird time to be growing something like a podcast to have. You can tour on it. You can do just even those outside of just straight up comedy too.
It's very weird. Like even when we started a podcast over 4 years ago, we're like, oh, this medium is so overdone. Right. And then it got so much more overdone after that.
Yeah, because everyone has one now.
Obviously.
But
it's cool. But it's cool though because podcast is the only like we had advertisers. We kind of said, hey, we want to do ads now because we want to make a living off this.
Have to
focus on it, But we kind of had the advertisers come to us. So
nice.
They don't ever have to. The only thing we can't say on the podcast is to blatantly shit on a company that's paying to advertise.
Right. Which we have done. We have done that. We have done it.
We did Squatty Potty.
They deserved it. Squatty Potty, come on.
Well, we didn't know. We didn't approve Squatty Potty, and then we looked and we're like, oh, fuck, we're going to do Squatty Potty? What the fuck's a Squatty Potty?
So when you reach a certain level, what happens is for people listening or that aren't familiar with that, you go to an agency and it's there's more work to it than this, but it's essentially, do you get X amount of downloads with this type of person listening?
Is this just a business meeting to improve your podcast?
Are you trying to steal our tips?
Are you guys looking to sponsor podcasts?
CPMs, yeah.
Why else would I wear this cheap ass suit jacket, right? So no, but what you do, people come to you with these, and it's kind of like, hey, we're gonna take it because there's a group. There's the Sherry's Berries. It's all
Sherry's Berries.
internet.
That's my Bill Burr impression.
That was good. Felt like I was sitting next to him, but it was. It is super interesting to see how that works, and you all have done a great job with that.
Thanks.
Infusing it in. You still have like almost an indie rock feel to people are very passionate
Oh, I thought you
come
meant
out
that
and
no
see
one
you.
knows who we are. And I'm like, I mean, yeah,
There's a
sure.
follow-up. And like
Yeah.
everyone's like, go away.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see
Very
you.
indie rock.
It's
Yeah.
really cool. And what's even cooler is the people who listen to the podcast. Like they're cool. Like the listeners are really. I like them a lot.
I was going to say at Helium this weekend, I guarantee you it's a little bit of a party, right?
Yeah, we have this segment at the end of our shows that we're gonna do. We're gonna do at all the shows this weekend, and on this tour about people telling us a story about like the worst thing they've ever done. And we have had. Last night was the best. Last night was so
A
funny.
lot of defecation.
A lot of shitting.
Why? Why
I
is
know, right?
defecation a
Because
popular one?
because your body will explode
Sometimes
if you don't
have
do it.
too much
Oh.
Metamucil. You didn't mean to drink the whole bottle,
Yeah.
and then you're peeing at a urinal, and then you just shit.
Not to put you on the spot, do you want to practice on Travis?
What is this? That's not
Do
our
it.
Like
podcast.
scatting,
That's not
I
what we
don't
do.
It's okay. You can ask. I'll say no. That's
Or
okay.
do you mean poop on him, or do you mean just ask him a story?
Whichever you prefer.
Because I interpreted it as just ask him a
I
story, and then
interpret it as
she
pooping
interpreted
on
it
you.
as we're just
And I don't do
shitting
that.
on this poor man sexually.
I
now.
took it as that.
Oh no, I was.
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
don't-
going to go down that road.
You hire
You're the
someone.
talent. It's like-
I'm not that talented. Come on.
what is the
My
worst thing
asshole
that's happened to you?
cannot dump on me.
Ugh, I can.
So tired.
I
What
can.
the fuck?
I don't know what was in
Bitch,
those.
what you eat?
I don't know what was in those eggs at the breakfast, but it was a long hour break between our last piece of press and this one. Let me tell you. Woo-wee. Okay. It's not good.
Do you guys recall your?
This is a sex podcast, everybody. Don't
Who's
forget
horny?
it.
Hey.
Who's horny?
Do you recall the first time where you guys openly discussed your sex life, like your very first
Yep.
time where you're in front of people, where you're just like, okay,
Oh, in
I'm
front
gonna
of people.
I'm gonna tell this story, and more than 3 people outside of my circle are gonna hear this.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Fucking
Do
terrifying.
I remember? I mean, like the first episode of the podcast. I mean,
was
other than that,
terrified.
it
there
was
was
like
a guy in the
stand-up.
booth, and I was like, "Ah, don't look at me." And yeah, but then you forget. You do it so often, you forget there's a microphone, and then you start saying shit that you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't say that."
Have you ever had a moment where you're like, I wish I had censored that one. I can't believe I let that one out on the pod? Or do you ever? Do you just like when you guys go into
It's
it, you
more,
just know it's
wow,
gonna.
I can't believe I said that. Well, I said it, so
Yeah, I really.
I don't care.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm too open. I think
That's
if
when the
anything.
creativity flows, though. Too. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to appreciate that more because if you censor it, hack it up where where you're worried about what's going out.
Yeah.
That's not why people.
Well, it's like
are gonna tune
the
in.
podcast version of Dance Like No One's Watching is talk like no one's listening. And then you're just really, truly going to say whatever's in your head, for better or worse.
I also think maybe I need to do more bad stuff because there's nothing that I've done that I'm truly ashamed of. So maybe
Right.
I just need
Oh,
to
I got
up
a
my
bunch.
ante.
St. Louis can provide some of that.
Oh, I
for
I
sure.
sensed that.
Yeah,
I
there's,
sensed
yeah,
it.
you guys are fucking nuts. It's great.
Oh yeah.
It's fun. I
had-
didn't expect it.
No, we had Jordan
No,
Rock in
I-
here, and the last time he was in St. Louis, there was a verdict and protest. I don't know if you know anything
I
about.
hung out with him last night, and he told me he landed, and they didn't indict him. The cop,
not this
and
time.
and I was like, oh, so they just counted on you to lift them up, and that's a big job.
Yeah,
dude.
they like. I believe he came the same weekend as you too. So him and Bono had the same problem. Where they like, I don't know if we can do a
Right.
show in St. Louis this weekend because they're killing black people in the streets. Always good time in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Hilarious part of the podcast.
About that sex again.
Oh no.
As far as like, was this the ultimate end of where you guys wanted to be as far as be able to create a podcast that got you more stage time? Was this the end game, or the podcast just took off and it made sense for you guys to take it on the road?
The podcast was very natural. It was
Okay.
not like we're gonna start a podcast and it's gonna
Right.
be great. It was just like I was having a mental breakdown.
Yeah,
Christina and I were working together, and I said, "Hey, do you want to interview all the guys that we've fucked on
I
a
was like,
podcast?" More
yeah.
because I don't think they want their faces on video.
Right.
Like that was
happenstance. It was
Yeah.
not that. I mean, it was planned in that Corinne and I are very hard workers. So I we made this magazine style write up about what we wanted the podcast to be, but in nowhere in that was it like this is going to be the greatest thing ever?
Right,
right.
'Cause then you make shitty art when you do that.
Very true.
Very true.
What was the initial reaction to the guys that you reached out to? What was when you told them this is what you were planning on doing? Were many of them receptive? Were they like, can you cut this part out? Or did you guys just say, fuck it, I'm just letting you know we're going to do it anyway and we're going to bring you on. It's just going to be
Well,
that.
they have to.
I
Agree
mean, you
to
can't
come
forcibly bring people
On. Yeah, we can't rape them
onto a
into talking.
podcast. I mean,
Like,
we were
podcast
forcibly
rape
brought
them,
onto
I don't
this.
know.
I do want everyone to know.
Yeah, but we're okay now.
But it
It's
was
okay.
fine. We're happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it's good. It ended up great. I remember I called Nico's the second ever episode. Oh, he's so hot. I gotta call him. I called him on speakerphone in Corinne's room, and I was so nervous because I hadn't talked to him in 3 years. And when he came into the studio to record, Corinne had introduced and had him sit in the green room. And the first time I saw him in 3 years was when he came down to record the actual podcast. And I was like, oh, whoa, I miss you. Sexy voice.
And he was game. He was.
Yeah, he was great.
I thought you said he was gay, and I was like,
did too.
no.
It took me a second. I'm
He's
like,
heterosexual.
No, he's straight. If he was bi, he should have told me because we could have fun. But yeah, no, he was great. He was wonderful. He didn't. Nico's not his real name. I mean, he has a different name because he didn't want us to say where he worked. But I'm like, that's okay. I don't give a shit.
You don't need that.
Those things don't matter. Yeah.
Like we met at a workplace, but I don't have to say what it is. It doesn't matter.
Was this ever a moment, a point of contention in your current relationship at the time when you decided to go down this particular path?
Yeah, my boyfriend at the time didn't want. He was like, "That's a bad idea."
Mm-hmm.
But I think but then I was like, "No, it's not."
Right.
Who won that one? Right?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I would say so. As you're on tour and the podcast continues to grow, as far as maybe next steps, now are you looking towards the future as far as what you could parlay this into or what you would like it to grow into? I mean, the concept itself, I mean, there's so many great opportunities just to get more eyes and ears on your products, right? I know, tougher than people would expect. The way the podcast has grown of interviewing a guy, one of us is fucked, to like interviewing comedians who've been through like terrible situations, interviewing like people like Kate Bornstein, who's a trans woman who's a fucking amazing, like just Nadine Strawson of the ACLU. Like, I mean, it's fucking crazy. And then the podcast is about to take like another curveball turn into like something even better, and I'm very excited about it. And I could not have predicted it. It's just you ride the wave.
Have you had couples, women, and of course guys come up to you guys to say, hey, look, when you guys were talking about this, that meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, every show. Yeah.
My favorite is when a straight couple comes up to us and the guy, you could tell the girl's so excited to meet us, and then the guy has a smile on his face that just says like, "Oh, she fucks you more because she listens to the podcast." Huh? The guy just goes, "Thank you," and I'm like, "You're welcome, man."
A knowing nod.
Yeah, and everyone's happy. The woman's like, it's cool because people like women deal with a lot of shit, and it's good to talk about it with humor.
Oh, you all are doing great work.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, you needed that from me.
Thank
you needed that from me. I can tell.
I was really insecure about how I was doing in life.
I didn't think we'd get to this point in the
came
podcast. Wow.
in this carpet and really laid it all down.
Well, we've got the lights. We've got the people out here watching. Go to Helium Comedy Club this weekend. Thank you all so much for coming by. I know you have a busy day, and it's going to be a very
Thanks
fun
for having
weekend.
us.
So
Yeah,
it's been a
come see us at
blast. Thanks.
Helium.
We Are Live, and check out their podcast. Again, weareliveradio.com for that show June 2nd. That's what we're pushing. Thanks, Trav. Thanks, everybody. Media Outlaws,
Thanks,
Gaslight.
Trev.
Thanks, guys.
Trav.